A report by the Canadian Taxpayers Federation says the cost for sending 182 people to the COP28 climate conference in Dubai has doubled. Now, to chat about this in more detail is Franco Terrazzano, Federal Director of the CTF, who joins us from Calgary. Franco, what was the final tab for Canadian taxpayers?
Yeah, the total cost is now up to $3 million. So the Fed spent $3 million sending at least 182 people to the United Nations climate conference in Dubai because, nothing screams fighting climate change like flying all over the world and burning through jet fuel and taxpayers' money. Now, within that $3 million tab, you got things like $800,000 spent on transportation, 470,000 bucks on accommodation, and like $300,000 on meals and incidentals.
So included in those costs were over $1 million the feds handed out to host a Canada Pavilion, which featured a rapper performing a song on climate disinformation.
Well, that's correct, right? The government spent $1.3 million on the Canada Pavilion. Now, apparently, that was to showcase the breadth of Canadian climate leadership. And hosted at the pavilion was a rapper who is actually the son of a Liberal MP, rapping about climate disinformation, even giving a shout out to the Environment Minister, Steven Guilbeault.
A previous report by the National Post pegged the cost for the trip at $1.4 million, Franco. But the final bill, as you mentioned, was closer to $3 million. So why the increase? What happened?
The full tab is $3 million. And the reason that we're now learning out that the cost is doubled, even more than that, is because when the government initially released the costs, they didn't provide all of the costs associated with this expense. So they just didn't release all of the costs. But the total tab is around $3 million. And you know what, folks? Here's a crazy idea. Maybe the federal government doesn't need to spend $3 million bucks sending 182 people to a United Nations conference halfway around the world.
Thanks so much for your time today, Franco. That was Franco Terrazzano, Federal Director of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, joining us from Calgary.